Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. Wednesday night means only one thing, Supercoach edition. We are in the thick of it now. We're in our position deep dives. So tonight, last week, we got through the big ones, the fullback and the centre wings, which egg on our faces because then within 24 hours, actually less than that, Supercoach came out and changed a whole heap of shit for us. So that was awesome. And then tonight we have the playmakers. So hooker, halfback, 5'8". Two of those positions are almost a wasteland at the moment. So they'll be pretty quick. And then one of those positions will be a bit more in depth, but maybe because of the slight changes that's happened and things like that, there could be a few more talking points as we go. Trav is on his way somewhere. His car's stuffed itself basically. So he should get on here at some point. Knowing his luck will probably be up to the last position by the time he gets on. He'll want to talk about the rest of it. So you got me and Jesse so far at the moment. Jesse, quick check-in, mate. How's your week been after? We're going to get into it in a second. We will talk about it. It's just been... So just to paint a picture, the amount of content we had ready to roll that I feel like has now become null and void is heartbreaking, to say the least, guys. We have done, especially Trav and Jesse have done a shitload. And it's just like power rankings and everything. Everything's got to be fixed up. Everything's got to be looked at now because of this.
Yeah, it's been a week. There's been a lot of uproar, and rightfully so, in my opinion. I think with this whole this scoring change, look, something needed to change with the scoring. We've been calling for revised or updated or better scorers in general. We weren't really calling for a different scoring platform and system. So, yeah, we're pretty close to the start of the season. No clarity, if anything. A couple of one-liners from the big boys, but look, everyone's in the same boat. We don't really know what the deal is. We can go into this as much as we can, as informed with the stats and the conversion numbers that I've got. Again, disclaimer alert: they might be slightly off. I'd probably allow a couple points here and there, tolerance, just to be safe, because the run meters thing, the try assist thing, the try contributions, the line engagements, it's all kind of muddy, to say the least. So yeah, it's been a bit of a week. All the stuff that me and Trav and James as well, we had prepared quite a lot. We've done some off-season power rankings. We've done a lot of posts on stats and averages and price points. All that kind of upside sort of thing. It's all again, to what you said before, it's a bit null and void now. So, we're just sort of going into it, with everyone at the moment, trying to just get your head around this new potential positional update with prices and scores. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
It's a shame. Just obviously, quickly, a bit of housekeeping. Thank you to our major sponsor, Caxton Street Brewing Company, and to our Supercoach sponsor, Freedom Finance Group. So thanks to Con and the team there for being on board for the second year in a row, guys. Trying to save yourself some money, getting on top of everything just to start the year. Con, please reach out to him. There's a link in the description below, whether it's podcast or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe as well. It goes a long way of helping us support the page. Our Legends groups, it's going off at the moment. People are joining left, right, and centre, and plenty of content going through, especially from a Supercoach point of view. Plenty of talking points around all this point scoring and things like that. Go ahead, Facebook link on our homepage there. Go ahead and become a legend there for $4.49 per month. Very, very cheap, guys. I think cheapest around, and fantastic. A lot of content. Lastly, our Supercoach overall league is the only league open still. The league code for that to take on all of us here at League of Inches, 218174. That is a $500 prize if you're in the Legends group. If you're not, a $250 cash prize. Also, rings. So Supercoach rings as well. So the winner will get a Supercoach ring, which is fantastic there. And then last, we've got a tipping comp as well. So ESPN tipping comp, just to enter in League of Inches, and then the password LOI. Obviously, for me as well, guys, I'm in a different situation. I'm out at work at the moment, so in some rural areas. my reception that probably not the greatest. So hopefully sticking with you guys as much as possible. But like I normally do, I'll just be hosting. So this is the most I'll be talking, and Jesse will do most of it. So it hopefully doesn't impact things too much. But my apologies. You can see the background that's all over the shop. I'm not happy about it, but we wanted to make sure we got something out to you guys again this week. Let's go then, Jesse. Let's just get right into it. Let's quickly rip the bandit off. You've already mentioned it a little bit. Let's just quickly dig into it a little bit deeper because obviously it's a massive talking point for super coaches at the moment. We've seen some pages, and guys, I'll be brutally honest with you all. There's some pages that we obviously chat to. There's some pages we don't. Not out of anything. There's some we just have better relationships with than others. There's been some that have been very outspoken about this week about what's happened. Some have got on the bandwagon. I'm just going to go out and say it's very clear who's in the clique and who's not. I think a lot of people will understand what I'm saying when I say that. This is nothing short of a shit show. I'm not the biggest Supercoach guy. I've said that from the start. But when even I can look at this and go, what the F is going on and why now? It just is outrageous. The fact there is just limited information getting spoken about from Supercoach. It's going to be the largest year ever in terms of Supercoach for sure. And to do this now, we're into the second week of trials. I just think it's disgusting. I really do. I'm not happy with this at all. I know the boys are really disappointed. Jesse, I know we don't want to go into it too much because it just pisses us off. We've got some exciting, more good things to talk about, but the timing alone is just why.
Yeah, it's very short notice. You know what I mean? Like if it was announced earlier, and even when the team picker drops that there'll be new scorers, that's a perfect time to do it. I think that would have been ideal. It makes me think that they didn't expect this to happen in a way. I don't know if whatever happened between Supercoach, no News Corp, Fox Sports scoring, if there was a fallout somewhere and they had to make this decision rapidly. Otherwise, things would have changed mid-season. That would have been even worse. That would have been way worse, to be fair, if it changed mid-season. So something must have happened either way. It has gone to NRL stats now. I just don't know what kind of game this is going to be anymore. Like, there's a reason we play Supercoach, and there's a reason why there's an NRL fantasy format. Like, they're different. If they're going to score them the same, but Supercoach is just going to, have higher points for attack, tries, and etc. I don't see the point. Genuinely, I think the format is a bit different, and the way that prices change and break evens, etc. There is differences in the two formats here. But if the scoring platform is the same, like throughout, then I don't really see much point, to be fair. And I don't know. I don't know what this is going to do to the game. I don't know if there's going to be as drastic a change as we expect, because I think it doesn't have a choice but to be. If the scorers are NRL scorers and they're the stat line that fantasy use, then try assists are going to be out the last hand. Third man tackles are going to be relevant for forwards and hookers and stuff as well. Line engagements aren't a thing. Runs aren't going to get counted unless they break a tackle or
the run is so confusing.
or break
like
through.
Even what they put out yesterday just made it even more confusing in my eyes.
Yeah, and they said that like they've never scored line engagements anyway, so that's going to not be a thing that matters. But then what counts as a run and what's not? So I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. This pod as well is going to be pretty freaking heavily factored around what a run is, because there's a fair few halves that love to run, and there's a fair few playmakers that aren't going to be getting their assists anymore for the sweep. So yeah, it's like what we know and what they're priced off, and everything that we have come to learn about these positions in Supercoach has been reset. Hookers are a position that we always tend to fade or go for a cheap one or just choose anybody that can kind of get a job done. Now, all of a sudden, if runs are going to be what they anticipate they might be, try assists are going to be straight out of their hands, and hookers aren't going to have to, come off the line a little bit, engage them a bit, pull somebody in, sidestep, and actually play the ball to get an assist. If they can just play it out off the ruck and that's an assist, then hookers all of a sudden are freaking pretty relevant. And they're going to get third man tackling, so we're going to start seeing 50 plus points in tackles for some hookers this year. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. I'm kind of just going into it with the mindset of like, I'll be open to this change, and I kind of anticipate and expect upticks in these like high upside positions for what the scoring looks like. But if it doesn't happen that way, people are going to format themselves pretty heavily into this, and it could backfire. So it's a
Yep.
weird one, man. We're in a weird spot.
Yeah, we are, and just bear with us, obviously, for this podcast as well, please, guys. It is like, as you can tell by now, it's just all over the shop. So we will do our best to make sure it's accurate as we can possibly get. And I'm sure you'll all appreciate this. It's just unfortunately, a really shit time to be able to do all this content, and it should be the best time because trial. We've got the first list of trial teams as well. 4 teams have basically listed their full strength lineups, which is awesome to see, but it just makes it so hard to talk about a lot of these things because, yeah, it's just that the information we've been getting is very, very limited. And it's like they're speaking in code at the moment. They've clearly told certain people probably exactly what's going on. Makes it hard when that's not everyone. But hey,
Yep.
it is what it is. Let's get into it. So let's go the hookers first. So a little bit different to last week, guys. We're going to go a bit more of the ownership percentage this time, a bit more relevant players. So we're not going through so much things and keeping it very relevant and equivalent to what everyone's needs are out there so you can all relate to it. So first up, Brandon Smith gets the hooker at South Sydney Rabbitohs, 235K, currently 49% owned, Jesse. I think this is more a question of what you do with him because I think he's a great own, whether it's your starting or second hooker. He's rumoured to be getting at least the starting hooker spot for the Bunnies, and then I think that means 2 stints, one at hooker, one in the middle sort of lock or front row. Yeah, it's whether people are brave enough to go all out and have him as your first, or you can literally just plug him there as your second and see what happens, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's a very easy buy. Like it's almost no brainer pick to get Brandon Smith in. Again, with all this news, I can see a world where you can run a 2 hooker formation. If there's going to be like a Grant or a Brayley plus a Marnie or a Simpkin or a Crossland or something, I can justify the going up to somebody else. I have been so set on just Brandon Smith as a hooker 2 this season. Well, to start with anyway, well, he's 235. Like you're going to get something out of him if he starts. Career average of updated stats too. By the way, everything that I'm going to talk about has been reformatted stat wise to the changeover through Rugby League Supercoach Pro, Fantasy Pro. So yeah, they have included all the runs, etc. So this could be a slightly off. I feel like it's going to look like it's very accurate though. He's got a career average of 53 as a hooker. In his very good PPM at 57 average minutes too, so zero point 0.9. He's an easy buy, man. It's so straightforward. But if you do have extra coin, you can find yourself with a bit more money to someone who's going to make those tackles and do more. But yeah, it's super simple. Yeah, I think it's worth it to be fair going to him and just taking 200k elsewhere. But yeah, we'll see what hooker looks like early on.
If he's named to start, I'd predict 49% will go up to about 70 or so. I think there'll be many more
Probably.
getting onto him for sure. Second, no surprise here, is Harry Grant, 606k, 27%. We obviously had Timmy from Supercoach Playbook on a few weeks ago, and he's had him in his team, basically one of those just non-negotiables, just have him in. Jesse, what are you thinking with Harry Grant? Does the new pricing and then the new point scoring help or hinder Harry Grant?
It helps him the most out of all hookers.
Yeah.
Harry Grant. So I've seen the posts that Supercoach have put out with their percentage ups and downs and who gets the bumps up and down. What confuses me the most is that does not line up with what we see stat wise. And obviously, they're the guys doing it. They're the ones, it's their product. They're pushing this point scoring change. So their numbers have to be completely 100% accurate. To what a full translation of this system to this system goes, they aren't exactly the same. So I'm a little confused there. But looking at percentages, he gets the biggest bump. He averaged, or he would have averaged around 67 last year off his 62. So it's a pretty good one. Like point jump wise, he's priced 670, give or take. So you're already getting him unders. To be fair, you're already getting him unders anyway, just off what Harry Grant is. He's a 70 average hooker who had a down year. Um, I think, yeah, from even with that pod that we did with Timmy as well, he's swayed me a lot. And to be fair, Harry Grant hasn't left my side since that one. I just don't see a world where I'm going to go without him, to be fair. At 600, he's the best there is in that position. There's a lot of appeal with Brayley, but 50k is a lot and hard to find sometimes. So with the positional change, the upside for him, what Harry Grant can do, his starting fixture run. I think when it comes to the starting 3 games for the Storm as well, Parramatta, St George, and the Broncos, he has an average against them, and this is going off the app, so that's the old system. Average against opponent 80.6 against the Eels in 10 games. It's astronomical. Um, St George 96.5 average in 4 games against them, and an 87.7 average against the Broncos in 7 games. So these first 3 opponents for him, he smashes all the time. It's the best time to have him, really. So yeah, he's a very comfortable hooker one for me, and I think I'll start with him for sure.
Tell you what, pairing Grant and Smith is very appealing for me at the moment. I think that's almost the golden combination to start with hooker for this year. Reed
I think so.
Marnie's at 3, 418K, 24%. He has been popular in Supercoach this year before and after all the changes. I think I heard correctly or seen you'll be able to back this up. I think these new rules help him a fair bit as well.
Sorry, you went robotic there.
Sorry.
Um, what I assume you said was it benefits him as well, and it does. He gets an average of about 46 from what I can see. So what I think is going to benefit Marnie more than anything is obviously he's going to get minutes um, at the Cowboys, which he wasn't getting last season. The only thing that does concern me there is if Sonny Luke is going to be there and he's going to take any of those minutes off him, especially with the bench makeups this year. So he will get more tackles. He will get less missed tackles just off what NRL do. You're going to see him pretty well bang out 40 plus tackles a game, most likely, and that's going to hold up that floor at 400 price. So for what he's priced at, I only see upside for him. So yeah, I like him at 418. I think, if you were tossing up how to get an extra 200k, going Grant to Marnie, I've tabled it up plenty of times, and I see the play there. Like, especially with the way the changes have gone now, it definitely benefits the hookers, benefits the tackle bot hookers too, and that's pretty much what Marnie is. So yeah, it's a safe, easy pick. I think you're going to get a good run out of him. The draw is pretty good. If he's got some attack about him, then jackpot's even bonus. But yeah, if the worst comes to worst, he scores you 50 points in tackles and a couple of runs. Like, that's pretty good for low 400s. It's kind of what we expect.
Apologies again, guys. Trying my best here with some very dodgy internet. So hopefully, by now Jesse knows pretty much what I say anyway. So it's good he'll be able to just crack the codes the whole way along and play along at home, please. The next one's a big gap actually. It's 13% gap from third to fourth here, and the fourth Blake Brayley at 654k, the highest price hooker, 11%. So I think that's purely down to the price, Jesse, because once again, I look at Blake Brayley and I just think one of those guys you probably look back at the end of the season and go, I wish I owned him from the start. But the fact that Grant's 50k basically cheaper, it sort of sways what to do.
Yeah, it picks itself. The pod play of going to Brayley is awesome. I rate it a lot. Like, I really do, and I think Titans having in the round in the first fixture of the Titans and then going Panthers is obviously going to be tricky, but he's a hooker. Get those tackles in the hard games, get some attack, which he found at the end of last season as well. So, especially, yeah, I just think for a player like Brayley, this could benefit him more than anyone. Because of what we've seen traditionally from him, going back to even the first half of last season and then every season before that, where he was just the meat potatoes, 80-minute, good tackle, young, very efficient, but that was kind of everything from him. Um, yeah, this is good, but yeah, look, 11% for the most expensive hooker in the game is quite high, ownership-wise, considering it's not Grant.
Yes.
Um, like, if
Crazy.
you're paying
First time in
50k.
5 years?
Yeah, exactly. And you're paying 50k overs past Harry Grant at hooker for Blake Brayley, who was barely picked at
Mm.
all last year, even when he was killing it. So, like the narrative changes quite quickly when it comes to these players, but he's incredible at what he does. There'll be a debut for him in the Blues surely coming up at some point. He deserves it. He's gonna be really good, and I just think for 50k less, I just want to go to Grant, but I love the play. I really do. I think it's worth it. It's worth it. If the stats line up how they look, he's going to tackle like Marnie, but he's going to attack well, and he's going to have players like Fanua Blake running off him too. So that's more try assists than he would have previously got with Supercoach. Because if you can just pop his head out and play it to Fanua Blake crashing through, That's immediate. It's kind of what we were hoping for from him last season, but now he's actually going to get scored them. So
Yeah.
yeah, very appealing.
Fifth is Reece Robson, 497k, 10%. I think we spoke about this in the Roosters. I think we were in agreement with this. I just think there's going to be a bit of a shared role here at the Roosters. They've got three guys who basically can play hooker quite well. I think Watson will go into that middle forward role a lot more this year, so probably wipe him out. But Ayalu is there, and he's a freak in the making. I just don't think there's a world where they're going to need to push Reece Robson 80 minutes each and every week. And I think while that's the case, there's better hookers in the game to be going for.
Yeah, look, apparently he's killing it for the Roosters. Apparently, just he's looking real good. 497 is really nice for Robson, but when you go back and look at his best ever seasons where he was, playing 80, he was always playing 80, and he's an 80-minute hooker. The Roosters might utilize him in a different way. He could sacrifice 15 plus minutes in a game. So every kind of minute hurts if you're just not playing for Reece Robson. But his best season ever was 22. He averaged 67. He only averaged just off 55. Like it's not that far away from his best ever. And if we're expecting a different role for him, then I don't really like that. Like 497, good price for an 80-minute Reece Robson in a really good side, but that's a lot of if. If there is an 80-minute position, if the side does well. Like, I don't doubt him for what he can get, but I don't think there's much more on top of what he's already priced at, considering, what we are looking at elsewhere for a little bit more. So,
Well,
yeah.
80k
I,
cheaper, you get a Reed money where you pretty much guaranteed what his
well,
role
that's
is.
it.
So
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they've basically he's gone to Robson's old team where they did play 80-minute hookers, and you knew exactly what Robson was going to do. I expect that from Marnie now. Maybe not as dimensional as Robson, but yeah, I just think there's just too. It's hooker's a weird spot playing games with him, especially 500k when there's so many questions. I kind of want to see him play a game first before I commit, but I'm not saying
we,
that about Marnie though.
we always say as well, and I think it's the same again this year. You just don't want to waste too many trades at hooker. It's just one of those positions where you really just want to almost pick from the start and go, yeah, sweet, whatever.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Watson's there, Iolu's there.
Yeah.
Someone's taking minutes somewhere.
16 is Smith, 5'8" dual with hooker, which I think they've stuffed up obviously because he's going to be halfback for the Knights. 10%. Is this purely down to people hoping goal kicking?
I think it's down to people needing a 5'8" as well as a hooker. I think that's ownership would probably be more skewed in the 5'8" position than the hooker one, to be honest with you, man. Because I've had him in my 5'8". I wouldn't really humour it at hooker.
Yeah.
I think there's other players at hooker that you can actually own, but I feel like 5'8" is such a wasteland. I don't mind standing at 500k for that 5'8" position in particular, but we can talk about him when we get into the 5'8s in the next one.
We'll go 5'8". The hooker guys, don't think about it. A guy that I was so glad to find a way to get out of my team. He's not there anymore. Bailey Hayward, 343k, 8% owned at the moment. I keep saying it. Love Bailey Hayward as a player. I don't know. Maybe the new point scoring system might actually benefit him.
I think so.
Your reaction just there made me start to think. Hang on a second. Maybe he's an option again.
He is an option. He definitely is an option. Look, if you want to go cheap in that position, he's my favourite for cheap. Only slightly dearer is Phoenix Crossland, who is also quite appealing for that sub 400. But I think when it comes to Hayward, you kind of have to look at his average and just think about all the games that he played everywhere. He was a 5'8". He was in the centres. I'm pretty sure at some point he was playing hooker. He was off the bench. He was in the middle. He played a lock.
Everywhere.
Just everywhere possible. So you can't look at his scores at all with any accuracy. All you can do is limit the games that he did play at hooker with some minutes. And then think a preseason's coming in. The team's a bit more structured now. They're a bit more stable after all the rockiness from last season, especially with him filling in Marnie's position while he was still there at the club, having that over his shoulder. It would have been just something for a player to work on. I don't know if anyone's played like any sort of level of sport at a higher grade where you've got positions, like you have teammates in your position. And it's like, look, someone's got to win that spot. If something's happened internally at the club and you've won it that way, you always feel something shift. But now that it's his and he kind of gets to own the 9, there can only really be a tick for him. Like, it's a good thing. But in the games that he played at hooker, over 50 minutes last season, there was 3. He averaged 50, um, which is something to work off. It's a very
Mm.
small sample, very, very small sample, but it's something. Where is this is what you're sort of going to be looking for in that kind of position. In those 3 games, we'll just go 50 minutes at hooker, 2025, 55 points in 69 minutes against the Warriors in round 23, 35 in base and power. So, not too bad. He got a couple of assists. So that was pretty good for him there. 60 points in 67 minutes against the Storm in round 25. So you take that as well. Base of 35 again, so exactly the same. And then in 66 minutes, he got 35 against the Panthers in round 26. A base again of 33. So it's very consistent. His base is going to look like that. If that improves, that's his price tag already. If there's more in his game, then it's all profit. But you're not buying him expecting Harry Grant numbers. I think you're buying him to facilitate and enable other big moves in your team. I think the money that you save, it's a 250 odd K, just under 250K to get Grant in your side from him. You can spend that so much. Like that money can go a really long way. But again, the points are the differential, and the ceiling to the floor of the hooker broad width, like the actual bandwidth itself, you might only be talking 15, 20 points here. Where some other positions, 200K can go from a 40 to an 80. It's very different. So yeah, I don't mind it for cheap, but I would try and find a way to not do it if you could.
I did that.
Yeah,
it
same
worked. I
thing.
worked a long time to just get away. I just didn't like him in my team. It just didn't sit well with me.
Plus, they've got an
Um,
early buy too. So if you've got a
yes.
Brandon Smith, you just hope he plays, and then you play them both. Um, there might not be much different between them. Brandon Smith might even average more than Hayward after the first 5 rounds. Like, it's one of those things where you just really don't know, and you kind of just taking a punt on someone cheap. Which, to be fair, and always has been in the hooker position, you can kind of get away with it. So we'll see how much this changes the landscape for hookers.
Yeah. The guy I've really kept finding myself going back to and really like the look of is Jake Simpkin, 422K, 6% ownership at this present time when we go to air. I just keep going to him, Jesse. I know obviously there's some bad news today with Caleb Navale being ruled out for basically the whole year with an ACL injury now that happened at training.
Mm.
So one less forward for Simpkin to work off, and he was a guy that I was really looking forward to this year and watching Simpkin sort of work with. Paseka's fit at the moment, so that should help. But yeah, I just keep looking at Simpkin going. It can help me in other positions. Just keep some cash there. If I'm trying to look at going elsewhere from the Harry Grant option. Is he seeming like as good of a option as face value is suggesting with the fact that he's basically the only hooker standing at the club?
Yeah, that's a perfect position for him to be in. 80-minute Simpkins always good. It's
Yep.
always good. He was good last year, late on in the season. The look at pretty much the last 5 rounds, 23 onwards. He got a 64, 69, a 52, a 52, and a 73. He also had a 79 earlier in the season. So he's got more ceiling than Amani does, in my opinion, for the same price tag. The minutes were the question. I don't think they're the question anymore. I think Simpkin can play 80. Like, we've seen him do it in the past. I don't think it'll be a problem for him to do, especially if they're gonna use him that way. I like it a lot, to be fair. I've had Simpkin, I think, probably the last 2 years in a row at some point in the year. Usually it's a downgrade option when he gets that starting role, which always happens. Like, someone gets injured and whatever club Simpkin's at, and he's like, here's your role. You're gonna go take it off with it, and he's done really good with it. It was similar to how, like, Little went. You know what I mean? When he was at the Tigers, wasn't he? Little, early days.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
So same thing. Simpkin was there as well. Um, very, very similar mold of a player too. I think the attacking upside is there for Little more than the others at his price point. So I don't hate the move. I just don't like the early buys. Again, it's just one thing to contend with, but hooker, it's like, so what? So be it. It is what it is. But they play the Raiders first, the Knights, and then the Roosters after their buy in round 3. So the run is what it is. I think you could do worse, man. Honestly, I think
Mm,
there's going to be a good year for Simkin coming up. Um, there is a bit of options at this like mid 400 ish, 400, 450 down to 380. There's definitely options here. It's just how much. What's your plan with Hooker? Like, are you getting a Simpkin to make you 200k to get Grant? Are you gonna spend that 200k right now smart, and you're actually gonna put it somewhere useful? Or do you just get Grant to start with and just keep rolling? Because if you start, here's the teams that he plays against to start with are very, very good, and
mm,
Grant is already underpriced. So, and you could say the same for Brayley. Brayley's underpriced in this new format. All these dudes that you're getting, they're going to have, like the cheap guys, they're going to have a higher floor than they've currently been scored at.
it's
But
actually
everyone that you
value.
want to, yeah, everyone is value.
Yeah.
Like every single hooker in this list so far is value. They're all going to go up in coin. They're all going to do more than they're priced at for sure. But how far do the top ones get away from this pack in the middle? For you to then go, oh, now I really need to start trading at hooker. I need to pull something apart. I need to fund it from another position. Where if you think that Simkin, rightfully, he very well could push himself into 600s, where's Grant going to be at that point? Is he going to be 750? Like the scale moves up the entire time. It's all relative. So um, I just think for everyone now in this new structure, I think basically everyone is going to get you the 50 you want at hooker. Everyone. Um, Rarely you're going to get a game where someone makes 25 tackles and misses 15 of them. Like it's one of those things. Like these dudes are just they do what they do. They just meet it. They grind it out. Third man tackling is going to be really good for a very depleted forward pack, especially for a hooker. Because he's going to have to be in and amongst it all the time. So yeah, this kind of benefits Simkin more than the others, I think, for like in the price point that we've spoken about with the injuries they've just received for Navale.
Yeah.
Um, do you reckon I'm right there with saying that, just with what he's got to do, just thinking about it?
Yeah, yeah, I think you're spot on. To be fair, there's not much more for me to add. I think you're spot on. So
There you go. Yeah, I like
Caxton,
it. If you've still got him in your team, like if Joel, you've still got Simkin in your team, I really don't mind it now.
mm, I
Really don't
don't.
mind it.
Yeah, I just not owning Grant after those numbers you read out scares the shit out of me. So
Yeah,
I
it's nuts. And like we can talk about every other hooker in this list, and I'm still going back to Grant for 600. It's just for what he can do,
yeah,
it's just more than the others. It just is in a position where you've only got one. You only really want to deal with one. You don't want to play your bench hooker with a reserve on him, ideally ever.
yeah.
Um,
And with
yeah,
Garlic going to South, that's obviously Harry Grant. Like I know Wishart's still there and can potentially play at that, but I think he's moved more into that half sort of role now. I think Grant plays 80 more often than not. Really, I know there was a lot of time the last year or two that if they're winning by a little bit, he'll probably take him off, which may still happen, but that'll be like a last 10 minutes sort of thing we're talking about where he's already probably scored 70 or something. So,
yeah,
yeah,
it'll
I'm,
be
I'm liking the Harry Grant play more and more, but I do, at the moment, I'm sitting with Simpkin, and I'm quite comfortable. If I have to change my team drastically to get to Grant, I won't do it. I'm happy to keep Simpkin, so we'll
yeah,
see what happens.
yeah. I think so too. Just yeah, it's kind of the way it is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that's sort of standing out to you on the rest of this list?
No, I was going to say literally like the next lot is just basically just skimming through. The only like quick thing you see Kalani going at 5%. He's obviously with that people getting him to get the sort of enough and. But heads up with the 6 man bench now, there's a chance that he could be in that. So you might get
Mm,
yourself a little bit of a. There's probably safer guys out there to nuff now than
I think
Kalani
so.
going. So probably get
Yeah.
that back down to almost a 0% guys. Jump off if you have. And then there's a heap of guys like Paddy, De Silva, even Riley Smith at the same club. A lot of these guys where they're just one injury away, where if the lead hooker gets injured and they become the main guy, you pretty much everyone will be getting onto them guys sort of straight away. So keep an eye on it. The only one to really, I guess, talk about maybe a little bit here, Jesse. It's just a small conversation. Damien Cook,
Yeah.
526k for the
Um,
Dragons, only 1% owned at the moment. Little's out for another I think it's another 4 or 5 weeks or something at the moment.
yeah, it was
So
like a round seven return or something. But I'm
yeah,
glad you actually brought up Damien Cook because he's the person I was going to bring up if you were going to keep moving.
there
So
you go, mate.
yeah, Perfect. But he's another one of these hookers that gets an uptick in his average. I'm seeing him average roughly around a 58 based off the other scoring, where he's currently off a 53.8 here. So, give or take 3 to 4 points. Little's out. 80 minutes for Cook. We know what Cook can do in 80 minutes. He's done it on for freaking hell. Since 2018, he's averaged over nearly 70 every year. So, with a couple of 80s in there, you know what I mean? Like, last year was great for him. The season before, 67. 2022, he averaged 80 with this scoring format. I like him a lot. Hey, like Cook is a very, very good hooker. Like he's got it all. Last year, he didn't really even show signs of slowing down that much. He just kind of got moved around a lot more, and they used Little a lot more. So, especially to start the season without Little, it's if you're going to own Cook, it's kind of you got to start with him because any later on, then you're going to be sharing minutes again, and it kind of just takes the appeal away. And then we said it last season as well, takes the appeal away from both of them.
Yeah.
Makes Little not an option, makes Cook not a good option. But to start with, Cook's a great option. But you just have to think about what you'll be doing in that position when Little comes and starts to spread the minutes again. So you probably have, I reckon, 6 weeks before you need to worry about it, which is enough time to make a little bit of coin. But yeah, for what really? To trade him up to someone else or just to hold on to him? Maybe he averages 55 with Little back in as well. But yeah, I like him. And 1% is just a bit wild, to be fair. I thought it would be higher considering when Little went down. It's like, well, 80-minute Cook. Like, this would be fantastic to have. We've been asking for 80 minutes from either of them. And they both priced each other down last season to this. So, yeah, I think it's a good play. But again, what we just said before, how much money do you need to find to get to Grant where you don't have to worry about it? 70K? Try and
Do it.
find it if you can. Yeah, I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
it's
No,
not. It's just not a position to pod, really, is it? Like,
I don't think so, especially with the fact that we're talking about upside with Grant and value with Grant. Like if this was something where he's starting at 750 or something and there's not
yeah,
value, you're like, it's a different conversation. We're probably all going
hundred
elsewhere. But the
percent.
fact that it's actually a value pick and it's legit value and it's not even a hard thing for Grant to get to, I think it makes this hooker chat fairly easy. We said it was going to be a quick one. It's probably gone a bit longer than we anticipated. There has been a couple of guys just to talk about with higher percentages and stuff like that. There is some decent options out there if you didn't want to go all the way to Grant. There's definitely some liable options I think we've spoken about. But apart from that, I think we've spoken about everyone really, Jesse.
Yeah, pretty much everyone that I'd kind of consider options and
Yeah,
what people would be looking at, especially by ownership percentage wise. Anyway, I think
yeah,
so. But yeah, I just want to sort of end off with Hooker saying like, with all the dudes in the top ownership of 10% and up, I think they're safe as houses. Like
mm,
they really are. You're just going to get what you get out of them.
yeah.
But the difference of it is 400 to 600K. It's not that much really for the position, but yeah, there is
Work
upside in the top dogs.
work your budget. I don't think hooker's the position where you have to drastically change your team just to get a guy in. Like if it makes you feel a bit uneasy about your team, I think just keep with the guy that you basically your gut's telling you about. Don't go too far around and switch things too much around just to get one guy sort of thing. Just
Yeah,
it's hooker.
don't rip your
Don't
team
don't
apart
think
for a
much.
hooker.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, hookers done and dusted. Let's get over to probably the bigger chat for the night would be halfbacks. So let's tackle it now. So then we've got a
Mm.
downhill slope at the end of this one. So
It's
Ethan
sad.
Sanders, 246K, 40%. He's been basically confirmed. Jared Kruger's mentioned on the radio a few times that he should be the kicker as well, the goal kicker. Not bottom dollar, but close enough to it. Basically,
Yeah.
actually, I'll throw both him and Daniel Atkinson together because they're both the almost bottom dollar. 235K, Daniel Atkinson 29% as well. I'd be more confident and comfortable owning Atkinson over Sanders, and he's actually cheaper. I'm a
Mm.
bit. I've said it obviously a few times from the NRL point of view. I've said it maybe a couple of times on here as well. I just Kobe Black waiting there. I've got so many raps on that kid. He's honestly, if they didn't have Sanders in there and probably gave him that year last year to get ready, they probably would be putting Black in straight away. I think they're just trying to do the right thing by Sanders. I don't know how guaranteed this 7 jersey is for him.
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because we've been given two cheap halves, and
Mm.
One of them, they both have their pros and cons. Sanders is goal kicking, which is going to raise his floor in a better team.
Yeah.
I don't think Sanders is as good as Atkinson as a halfback.
Yeah.
I really like Atkinson. I think Atkinson's fantastic, and I'm very keen to watch him this year. And I'm keen to see how he goes in this team where he's been, basically this is yours now, the seven. There's no prodigy in the back lingering ready to take it off him. We know what Atkinson's going to have, and I think that security is very valuable. For Sanders, you're basically just taking what almost appears to look like safety first, slightly dearer, so you can go down to Atkinson if you need to. He's going to goal kick in a better team that the halfback did, quite well last year. But the halfback last year was Fogarty, who did very well for the Raiders last year and didn't blow the world up, average wise. I don't think Sanders is going to rival what Fogarty did last year for the Raiders. And if that's going to be the way his average looks, he's only got 4 games at half. He's averaged 41 in those games in the NRL as a halfback. As far as a average without goal kicking, it's 38. So he's only due to make maybe 100 or so K if he's just going to be that. And if he's not performing, you're not obviously going to get that, and he's going to have Kobe Black sitting there. And then all of a sudden we're trading out Sanders to Black, which again it could be a very viable move. Like have one of them go down to Atkinson if Sanders doesn't look like he's doing well, but then Black becomes an option too. So which way are you going about it? Either way, you've got 1, 2, and 3, and if you start at the top, you can get to the bottom easily. When on the Atkinson side of things, I like the pick more. I like the play of Atkinson more. But again, a lot of it will look at as just entirely preferential. I just think in a team that, a lot of people are tipping for bottom four, some are tipping for the spoon. What do you expect a rookie? Well, I wouldn't say he's a rookie as such, but it's his first, seven. Like it's a big position to take. What can he do with this team in his first
Mm.
year? With a lot of that trust just bestowed upon him, after basically just sitting out entire last season, waiting to go to the Dragons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one of those, you're picking one of them.
Yes.
I've seen many a team that have run both cheap halves, and it terrifies me. And I've built teams with it, and the team looks freaking amazing outside of it. And then I look at my two halves and go, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because if you flex at that point, I'm hoping it's like a Cleary or a Hines or something, and not a fullback, because you're going to be done out of your halfback position if you don't get him in your flex. Um, it just makes it really hard to get to them. And I just don't think we're going to see the upside in halfbacks anymore. Not enough to push these middling guys up to the likes of a Cleary. Like that's 600 plus K. That's not happening in 2 moves. That's not happening in 3 moves. Like yeah, you're dismantling your team for a couple of weeks trying to get that sorted. Um, I currently have Sanders in my team, and it's purely over budgeting. I just want to see how much I can sort of keep away there. If I need to find 15K, I'm going straight to Atkinson, and I've had Atkinson more in my team more than I've had Sanders in my team. Um, it's just yeah. What do you really expect out of it, Joel? What are you sort of thinking happens with these two? Because that's the way I've sort of separated
Mm.
the two of them.
Well, I'm just nervous about Sanders, so I'm just not. I haven't gone there, literally once yet. I've got Atkinson, and I'm pretty comfortable. I'm just a little bit nervous for Atkinson now being given the seven role if it changes his game too much because he's a great runner of the football. Like well, everything we've
Yeah,
seen so far of him in the NRL side of things, fantastic. I don't want him to lose that. I don't want him to just become this sort of meat and potatoes halfback because he's got the seven now. Like I just hope he continues on, and if he does that, I'm more than confident he will make some pretty decent cash. And I'm not going to say anything crazy like he'll make some stupid cash. I think he'll make some good cash, and then he'll be one of those guys where he starts to look elsewhere to then go up to that next level of guys. I don't think I'll own him the duration of Supercoach, but um, I'm comfortable to have him. But there is a little bit of nerves around it, just because I hope the whole seven thing doesn't get to him.
I don't think it'll get to him, but I think
Yeah,
there'll be he's going to have to adjust. It's a lot
I
more than
think
he
he
was doing
needs to.
last year.
We've seen some sevens who do run the ball. Like
I
I
think
have a
it's just a
feeling him and
system.
Flanagan will basically switch over. I think they'll have the
Yeah,
jerseys on, but I actually think Flanagan will play more of that controlling guy, and I'm
that's what I'm
thinking
thinking.
Atkinson plays more that 5'8" style. I
Yeah.
think that's how they're going to do it, which I'm more than happy then to own Atkinson.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I was thinking the same thing as well. Like
Yeah. And we'll
Flanagan's been
see
there
this
for a
weekend, luckily, because they're one of the full strength sides. So we'll see how they actually play in
mm,
that Charity Shield. So that'd be a good one for super coaches to look at.
yeah, definitely. I think you're probably going to see that ownership swing after the game plays. If he has a good game, Sanders owners will be going to Atkinson. People that are looking for someone cheap will be going to Atkinson. His price is nice. The 246 for Sanders is a little awkward, to be
Yeah,
fair. I don't know what it is about it either. Like it's just not bottom dollar. And if it
yeah,
doesn't go well quickly, he'll lose coin, which is just weird. But we saw it last year with Duffy. I'm not, we keep repeating that, and sorry about it, Duffy. Like it's just a shitty spot, but there is a chance that happens to him. He has a couple of bad ones in a team that's restructuring now with no half. Well, their halfback, their main key player, is gone. He's got to either take the reins or he's going to have someone taking it off him. So, yeah, I'm more in the Atkinson camp personally, and yeah, I think either way, they're both cheap. They both come with risk, but
yes.
they're both probably essential
I think
to build a team.
I think you need probably one in your second spot for sure. Next up, Mitchell Moses, 543k, 25% owned.
Boo.
Yeah, there is actually a fair few rumors around at the moment with him, and a lot of people got on because of the goal. Literally, so many people talking purely goal kicking point of view. I'm hearing more and more talk around the fact that Peasant's the guy that might be getting this. Apparently, at training, he's been doing a lot of goal kicking practice and things like that. So,
No way.
yeah, I hope it's not the case because I think 2 points is big in the NRL, and conversions. If you get 4 or 5 tries each game, like conversions mean a lot. That could be 10 points extra, which will win you a lot of football games. So I hope Moses isn't worried too much about his body because that would be what it's down to. I was a lot higher on this pick at the start of this preseason than I am now, Jesse. I don't know if you're the same, but I've gone off the Moses play quite a bit to the point where I don't know the last time I put him in my team.
Yeah, I think the only time I really had him in my team was the first day of team picker. And then I sort of looked at it and I thought, why do I have Moses? He's never been a good option. He's always been a freaking headache of an option all the time. And you're always trying to get off him. And I thought, and you know what? No, like this isn't going to change him. Like he might be underpriced. To be fair, he's actually the most negatively affected halfback with this new scoring system.
Oh,
He
wow.
gets hurt the most by differential of his average. So he averaged 55 and a half last year. Had the scoring system applied, he would have lost 7.1 points of average down to a
48.
48 and a half. Yeah.
Yuck.
That's where the scoring shifts him down to. So he cops it harder by average differential more than anyone. Still puts him, a higher average than a lot of the lower guys. But if you're paying 540 for Moses, thinking it's unders, he would have averaged 48. So it's technically overs. Um, and it's just a lot of ups and downs. It's just a lot of things that his game isn't super friendly for Supercoach. Maybe more for NRL, with what he does in that game with the kick meters. That's kind of where he gets his points out of in another format. But for Supercoach, it's a lot of ups and downs, ups and downs. And if he's not fit, is he goal kicking? Is he injured? Yeah, 25% still now at this point in time. Like I'm like, geez, that's a lot of man. That's a lot of people. I just don't really back it. I don't back it
Mm.
at all. I know I did, like, I looked into it the first day and thought, oh, cool, there's some value in halfback. Because of the way that, everyone wanted to build their teams out with centers. I don't think he's value,
Mm.
and I don't love the pick.
The other thing that makes me nervous about this is the fact that if it doesn't go well for him, he's actually, when you actually look at this now, and he's compared to him against the two guys that are below him that we'll talk about next, there's actually a bit of a gap. Like, if it doesn't go well, it's going to be a little bit of a pain to get up to the guys whoever's going and starting with Moses are obviously wanting to get to Cleary or Hines within the first probably 4 or 5 weeks. If it doesn't go
I
well,
think,
it's a
no, Yeah, and look, I don't think if you're going from a Moses and he doesn't go well, you're not unless you're trying to find, the couple hundred K it's going to take you to get to Cleary or Hines. My first point of call, genuinely, if I had Moses in my team and it was looking bad, is I'm going straight over to Adam Dewey. Straight over. Like
That'd
for
be not trade
like,
yet.
straight over, and I'm just going to go, I'm going to cut my losses here, and I'm jumping on this weapon over here. So whether or not you want to do that and go to like a Dylan Brown if he's performing well, there's a couple other guys. If you want to find, what is it, 70, it'd be about 90K, give or take, to get yourself to like a Jerome Hughes. It's not 200 to a Cleary. Like, that's quite tricky, but, most of the time you can find yourself near about 50. But yeah, that would be what I'd do. If you're going to really roll the dice on Moses and you back it in, your gut's telling you Moses is my man, and it doesn't look good, you've always got an out with Dewey, because I don't think he's going to be bad at all. Because he is, when we get to him, he is the most positively upgraded differential halfback in the list. So
Okay.
two opposite ends of the spectrum for average.
Let's go to the next two. We'll get the Travis in now, guys. His car's better. He's better. We heard
Welcome
a
back.
couple of big deep breaths there. He's ready to go. So that's the sign that Travis in the house. Just quickly, mate. He's had a fresh shave. I've not seen you cleanly shaved in a long time.
Maybe it's just the blurry hotel internet that you've got there, man.
Yeah.
But definitely,
Okay, it looks
definitely normal.
a bit of stubble.
Just some stubble from the weekend.
Where are
And no, the car's not right.
Oh,
But yeah.
Did you leave it there?
Oh well, I got home. No, we managed to be able to get it home, and then but yeah, she's not going anywhere for a few days.
No
good.
good.
Not good. All right, you can start us off. So next two, I'm going to group these two together because I feel like it's one or the other. Nathan Cleary, 826K, 23% owned. Nico Hines, 749K. Big drop down, actually, 11%. So 12% difference at this present stage. Talk to us, Trav.
They're now both in my team, so all I can say is just get them right. I've managed to find a way to do it. I'm just going to load in here and lock that spot and just keep it as is. The only time I want to remove that is if Cleary gets injured, which is inevitable. But I'll use one of my 40 trades to do that, and then and look. The draw that Nico Hines has got early is almost like I've locked in a captain that I can just have for the first half dozen games. So yeah, I've locked and loaded those two guys myself.
Nice and quick. He's just come in, boom. Jesse, what are you doing?
I'm in the same camp. Hey, I went to it. I think the way that, like, when you said it's one or the other, what I went with and the way I kind of brought it to myself was, look, you've got to flex. If you want to put a gun in your flex to make yourself look better, like you look better in your team, then you do it that way. Or if you want to put your cheapie in your flex and then you got to reserve someone, you're just wasting chips. But Cleary, Hines as a half one and a flex. I've got Cleary in my half one, and then I looked at Hines in my flex. And I thought, who around this price is better than Hines for his points, irrespective of position or anything? And at the time, I had Drinkwater. And Drinkwater is more expensive than Hines, and I trust Hines more than I trust Drinkwater. Just at least to start, at least until we see what the cows do. And if Drinkwater is Drinkwater, then he's always a great option too. But I think for what Hines is, one of the best Supercoach players that we've seen in recent times, for less in the flex, I think you just do it.
50K less too.
Yeah, it's substantial. It's a good amount of coin less. So that's how I done it. And then Nathan Cleary. So with the new scoring, again, basically all halves, barring relevancy, only one.
Dewey's the only one that's actually got a positive differential.
Yep. Dewey's the only one out of pretty much the entire list of halfbacks that gets a plus. Everyone else gets a minus. Yep. Moses gets the worst. Moses cops the -7. When it comes to Cleary, what did he average last year? 84.5. It would have ticked down to an 81.1. So even with everything changing, he's still averaging over 80. He's in a different realm. You're going to lose him. We all know that for Origin. You might get late restings, etc. Same thing. It's Cleary. You just gotta allocate some trades for him in and out every year. I think it's important. and he's a captain option.
Mm.
He's a clear-cut captain. When it comes to the opening run of games that he has, again, say the same thing for Grant's opening run and how well he played against them. Cleary dominates in these first 5 fixtures. Average against the Broncos in 11 games is 93.3. Average against the Sharks in 10 games is 82.3. Average against the Roosters in 12 games is 82.4. The Eels is actually one of his lowest in 16 games. His average is 65. So at least in the first 3, he's going to be averaging over what he's priced at, essentially. So it's Cleary. You know what I mean? He's just going to do it.
Yeah.
It's hard not
I've
to.
got to jump in here, Jesse. Look, I hate listening to Joel at the best of times, but there's something that Joel's made mention a few times about the Panthers, and one of those is that the Panthers' early run and what they've got is tough. And what do we want the Panthers to have to start the year off is tough games, and that's just a team that's got there. So, Joel, you've rubbed off on me, and I like that sentiment. So Cleary, I did everything I could to get Cleary into my team, based off what you had said.
I'm glad you've done that because I haven't had Cleary in my team once so far. So I haven't even listened to my own advice. So
No.
I don't know. I've gone Nico at the moment. Nico's my halfback, but yeah.
Still love that.
Who's in your flex, man? Who's in your flex?
Goodness me, I couldn't tell you right now. It's either Keeney or it is. No, I think it's Sua actually.
Oh, you've gone a chibi. You got 3 fullbacks.
Yes,
3 fullbacks.
Yeah. I like the exciting fullbacks at the moment. So
yep,
that's fair.
Fair call.
But to be fair as well, with obviously that link player, the sweeper doesn't get the try assist, that might change how I think moving forward. I honestly just haven't had time this week since the point scoring to sit down and actually look at my team. So I'm still in old version mode at the moment. So my team just isn't really relevant at this stage. All right, let's keep moving here because halfback could get us down into some dark places time-wise. Katoa and Sammy Walker are next, boys. And I feel like when we spoke about both the team side of things, so guys, we've gone deep dive into all teams as well. Go ahead. If you haven't already, if you're new to the platform, go ahead, check them out. They've been out the last month or so, so just type in your team and you'll find it there. They've been mixed in with a couple of other teams that's gone through each and every single player. We were quite high on both of these players at sort of different times, but I think once we then do it this way and we start comparing with the likes of Cleary and things like that, I think is it fair to say if you're going to that sort of price point, you're trying to find a way to get to, obviously Hines would be first, Cleary sort of second. What's the sort of, and I guess the other part of it, what's the point saying, Jesse, with the new things with both of these players? Because I know Katoa takes a line on a lot. So Walker is a slightly different halfback, but he obviously does a lot more of the fancy, tricky sort of plays himself, chip over the top, tries. But Katoa, I feel like Katoa is one of those interesting ones at the moment.
He is interesting for his game of line engagements, which don't count in this scoring format. So Katoa cops it.
Yeah.
Katoa cops it negatively, yeah. So he drops 5.8 off his average. He goes down to just under 60. He goes to a 59.6. So he's more affected negatively than Hines is as well. Hines is a minus 4.5 down to a 72 average. Sam Walker's, funnily enough, only a minus 1.3. So Sam Walker's on a 68.5 average. When you look at the difference there's almost 10 points of difference based off this new scoring system. Walker's near 70, where Katoa's under 60. So there's a lot to it. I still would go Walker, definitely. I love Sam Walker. I think he's a great option. I don't think you're going if you're running a Cleary Walker combination, friggin' hell, I love it. I've looked at it. I've done it. I've had a few team builds with Walker in my side. I think he's probably one of my go-to guys. If not, it's not a Cleary and a Hines thing. The goal kicking, the immense attack upside is just outrageous from him. So you're going for that. You're going for that for sure. How much of his attacking stats were sweeping runs last season? Not many. He was very much Harbour Bridge, kick over the top, very flary, but it came out of his hands. Like it was him. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting the Supercoach interpretation of an assist. So that's not going to bother him too much. And he doesn't really run the ball a great deal either. Much, to really invoke running stats. So, his game is pretty dimensional when it comes to attack. His base is quite low. I think for Katoa, it's a little bit different. He's a bit more of that runner and he's a bit more of that sweeper. So he's going to be a bit more affected negatively than Walker is. So I've put a line through Katoa a little bit.
I think it's fair after what
Um,
you've said.
yeah, it's a shame as well because I had him in draft all last season and he took me to a bloody grand final win. He was just really, really solid all the time, and I think it's going to really hurt him, and it's just a shame to see. But yeah, I think Sam Walker's kind of a different mold. He's just, he just wants to go for the jugular all the time. So I think that's a really good thing in Supercoach.
Yes. Trav, do you have anything to add on those?
I guess the only thing to add, and it goes to both of them because they're both young superstars in the making for us in the game. But everyone is predicting Katoa to be very close to a Dally M, if not even be very close or have massive improvements. So does that improvement just override that small drop off that or 6-point drop off that he's going to have? Like, I guess it's a bit
Possibly.
of a gut feel too. Like you've got to like there's so much stats that we can take by, but there's also, we know that this guy's a gun and we know that he's going to get better. So like, can you weigh that up too? So that's all. Look, to be fair, I'm not starting Katoa, but I do like him. I have looked at Walker myself instead of Cleary. And running a Hines Walker matchup because I like the more and more I look at the Roosters and their run and their list, and even the more and more I think about the partnership with DCE, the more I think Walker's going to get better and better. Yeah, so I do like him, but I don't hate anyone at all for the Katoa pick either, because I do think there's improvement there and I think he's going to get better. So it's a good gut feel and a good pod call too.
Yeah, it's a big pod play. And the getting better factor as well for Katoa is, I think it highlights him a lot more than any other half, just because of how immense he has been in the last 12 months. Sam Walker, you're expecting, and it's a new halves combination too. So you can't just say straight off the jump, it's going to line up flawlessly for him. I just really hope it does. The Dolphins' run is good. Like, I don't think you're going to get shit out of Katoa. It's too much uncertainty for me with negative stats at the moment.
Yeah.
Based off where he's priced at. It's priced up right now. Once the dust settles after the first 5-6 rounds, and after they've had their bye in round 6, assess it again. Maybe Katoa's a freak. Maybe he's just, he's stepped up a notch and he's, pushing himself into that next echelon of half, becomes a good player again. But yeah, I just want to see where it settles.
Let's go Jerome Hughes next. 631k, 6% owned. Trav, talk to us. I feel like he's slowly becoming the forgotten man in a way.
He wasn't, and I spoke so highly of and have posted many teams onto our legends having Hughes in it until I saw the stats and until I saw Supercoach put out their garbage information. And from that, I've just literally gone, he's out, unfortunately. He's priced at 60k, 65k, basically overpriced based off his stats from last year. He's got a drop of 6.6. It's just a lot, and without his partner beside him, I don't like what that looks like, and it's just a wait and see for me.
Yeah,
what a shame.
I'm a bit nervous, obviously, the no Eli Katoa factor as well. I just want to watch to see if he can produce it. If he can, I've got no doubt a lot of people will be jumping on him very early if he can show that. But it's a wait and see for me.
Yeah, it's a big drop for him. It puts his average down to 58, which is significantly lower than his career average anywhere else in any other season. So it dropped the thing that dropped a lot of him was his base last season too. He base powered 25.7. He's traditionally a mid-30s base power halfback, so that's going to take away, 10 points straight off the jump. But to be fair, in 2024, even with the new current scoring system for the NRL stats, he averaged 80.8. That's over a 20-point in average drop off going into 2025. That one season alone is just crazy. To lose that much off a Dally M season, over 20 points in your average, was it like a flash in the pan for that 2024 year? You know what I mean? Or was it something that
No
last season
Munster.
was affected? Yeah, well, exactly. You know, everything
He
kind of
was
lined
the
up.
guy.
Katoa was there,
He was.
and he was the guy. But now he's not going to have his main guy, and you're still going to have Munster. So yeah, it's not really boding well for Hughes at the moment, which is it really is a shame because I had him for so long, and he was just like my
Yeah.
go-to option at half for the beginning of the
Yeah.
team picking stuff. So yeah,
It was just that
he's one of the
price.
worst.
That price was just so nice. That price was
Yeah, it
just
is.
so nice to
It
lock
still
in.
looks nice, but it doesn't look it
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Dylan Brown at 9. I think it's fair to say I'm not going to do anything here because until he gets the 5-8 duel, which he should get, even before the start of the season, really. But knowing off the last little bit of Supercoach, they'll probably stitch us up there. But I don't want to talk about him at halfback. I want to talk about him once he gets the duel, boys.
Yeah,
Agreed.
we'll talk about him as a 5'8" for sure.
Yeah. Jaden Campbell, 711k, 4%, averaged 72.8 last year. Don't know what this new point stuff means to him, but no, I have not heard anyone talk about Jaden Campbell this off-season, which I find crazy knowing what he has done in the past in this game. Is there a reason why no one's really talking about him? Have I missed something, or is it just because
he's a halfback.
and that's
Because
it?
yeah.
It's because he's a halfback. He's a halfback over 700k, and his name's not Hines or Cleary. That's the only issue. If he was a 5'8", with the way that 5'8" looks now, I think he would be the most owned 5'8", even at 700k. Because I would definitely own him. It's tricky. You can't have you can have Cleary and Hines, or you can have Cleary and Campbell, or you can have Hughes and Campbell, but you can't have all three. And if you're going to choose two out of the three, you're choosing Cleary and Hines. So for that reason, it's like, well, sorry, JC, you're kind of the man that falls out. But when it comes to the differentials of old average to new, he's the least affected. He basically averages the same. It doesn't bother him. He loses 0.8. It's just Jaden Campbell doing his thing. So, yeah, it's his stats are his stats. I wouldn't worry about any loss. He's priced at what his average is. His average is going to be quite often that, plus, the tons and that he can deliver. I really like Jaden Campbell. Hey, it's just 4% ownership. You're basically just taking a punt on him instead of Hines. Like Hughes, is Campbell going to do better than Hines to start? I don't know. They play each other in round one, which kind of you're picking one or the other. But I definitely like the Titans run, but it's the Titans, so it's not really a run. So
they don't get to leave themselves, so
that'd be nice. But yeah, no, Sharks, Dolphins, Cowboys, first three. It's all right. I like him, but I just don't think he's as much of an option at the price when you've got Hines next to him. It's just a shame he's not a 5'8" anymore.
Do you want to know something funny? Do you want to know something funny?
Tell us.
He averages the exact same amount with the differential and different stats as what Nico Hines has at 30k less.
It's basically one or the other.
It's
That's what I'm saying. Like
Jaden Campbell averages 72. He averaged 72.8. Nico Hines averages 72.1. So it's 0.1 of a point for 30k more. Now, Nico Hines can get better. His statistics have shown, in his averages have shown that he can get better. Jaden Campbell's still young. He's still a baby in our game. He's got even more improvement. If he's already putting 72s out now in that shambles of a club that happened last year, there's only upside and positivity around the Titans that Joel particularly have spoken about. We know they're going to get better. I can see Campbell being having a better average than what Nico Hines has by the end of the season.
I think it's just funny to put you look at Campbell, this 70-odd average, fantastic for Campbell. It's a really, really good score for him. And you look at Nico Hines at this same average and you go, what a shit year he had. That's where my mind goes. You know what I mean? Because it's always the same thing. Nico Hines was disappointing for his, 73 average. It's like, well, come on, man. Far out. What are you expecting here? 73 is better than majority of the game on a down year. That you're going to call it a shit year from him. So I think when you look at that, I just think when it comes to, and you know what, it's a hard argument to make too with ceiling, because there is very few players that have a ceiling that Campbell has. He's right up there with him, but it's just the frequency of it and the floor that can come with it too, because they both goal kick. It's just that Nico's obviously in a better team. Just Campbell's the main man in his team. So
Is there any thought here about the fact that many out there, many judges, are suggesting the Sharkies slide a little bit? So I know you were saying last year was a bad year for Nico in terms of Supercoach, and there was times where people literally just got off him and said enough's enough type thing. Are we looking maybe too rose glasses here? Is there can it happen that this is just Nico now, and the fact it might even be getting worse?
That's a good point.
yeah, it's fair. Like he's been on the decline for years at this stage. So, but it was like such a high peak to be at to have a decline. Like when you're talking like someone who's averaging in the 90s, like mid 90s, close to 100 for a season, you have to expect a decline at some stage. If that means he's going to come down to earth and he's going to average in the mid 70s, I don't think that's a problem. I think we're just so used to the luxury of it. In 2023, he averaged 92.6. That was only 2 years ago. 2 from scoring perspective anyway. 75.8 in 2024 and then 72 last year. It is doing this very slightly.
I think
Is Campbell going to do that at the same time? Like, I don't know.
I think the fact that Brayley's getting more and more involved, I'd love to see Nico's numbers for the last 6 or so weeks of the regular season when Brayley really started to go up another level, and Trindle's starting to demand the ball a lot more, which we've all said now. We think Hines should be the sort of the guy still. Well, that's how the Sharks look the best. But naturally, like, and the way I try and look at these things is from the NRL point of view, it does look like Trindle's starting to grab more and more of the ball. And Nico, if anything, starting to become, especially in the bigger games and against bigger teams, he just sort of gets lost in a way. Like there's some times where you just forget he's even on the field, which is a little bit of a worry. So, but
yeah,
we'll see,
but in those games, he still churns out 60 in the low ones. You know what I mean? He'll still churn out like if it's a shitty game and he's a ghost, his game is a 50 or a 60. If I don't see Campbell having too many of those games, but the floor is definitely lower. In the last half of the season, or the last chunk of the season anyway, where it was, he had a 137 Nico against or in round 19, and he had a 145 in round 24. Everything in the middle of that was like close to 80, if not an 80. Like it's a very good run.
Pushed him on to run the footy.
Well,
that's all you got to do.
When it was Brayley and Hines and not Trindle and Kennedy, it was a significantly better team with significantly higher scores in Supercoach. So I don't know, man. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I think it's a duck.
Captain Nico, here we come. Let's keep moving on. He's stolen way too much of the limelight. Tamari Martin, it's just about if he gets the spot or not, really. We'll talk about
premium enough
the spot. So then let's start going down the list. Boys, stop me once I read someone out that you want to talk about. Wishart, Tommy Dearden, Kobe Black. We've just spoken about him when we spoke about Sanders. Sullivan, yuck. Lockie Ilias, no. Lockie Galvin, 555k, 1% owned at the moment. If he gets into this 5'8" spot for the Dogs, I am very keen. But until that stage, no.
And they just named him at halfback.
Yeah, that's the thing. And because Mitch Woods is out for now a few weeks, I just read before. So
6 to 8.
Not ideal. The rest of this list, there's not much happening. Obviously, like Luke Metcalf's out for a while still. Boys, you've already talked about, maybe you want to talk a bit more about Adam Dewey, 556k. Does have the bye the first week, but like you've both said, this new point scoring system, he excels. Even before that, I think he's been a very underrated Supercoach player for a while. He's always got those really good games in him. So now he's not got the duel, he's just halfback purely. And I think this is the first time he's actually halfback. So bit happy
I love it
with Adam Dewey.
Yeah,
he's got great games until Jesse gets him into your team.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And jinxes for everyone.
Yeah, sorry everyone, but he gets the biggest bump. It is only a 3-point average differential, but he pushes him basically to his 60 average, which is pretty good. Which is not including just the games that he played at halfback, obviously last season. So he's going to be the half. He is going to be goal kicking by all accounts. And if I just go, a 50-minute average or 50-minute minimum, just to kind of eliminate any of those injury games, last season he averaged 74.25 56 without the goal kicking. So without the goal kicking, if he doesn't get it, he's already priced at that, which was already unders based off he should have been a 60. So in 2023, it was a 62. And these are just half games. He played 4 of them. In 22, it was another 70 average. In 2021, it was an 81 average in 14 games at halfback. So he's incredibly underpriced for what Adam Doueihi as a halfback goal kicking is traditionally. So I love it.
Yep.
The buy in round 1, I think it might be a nice little play. Gives you a little loop if you need it. Gives you you just play your cheapie for the week. Expect him to drop out. Play your Atkinson. Play your Sanders. You know what I mean? Just sit Doueihi there on the pine, waiting for round 2. He's ready to go. I'm considering it.
And then that round two, Cowboys at Leica. Then they've got Souths. Then they've got New Zealand. Then they've got Para. Then they've got Newcastle. So there's their first 5. It's a really nice draw.
Yeah. It's really good.
I like him more than Nico, to be honest.
It's worth it. I think it is, yeah. Then. It's just, again, like Adam Doueihi's always been good until he's been injured. What happened last season? He was absolutely flying. He was
played
cooking.
21 games last year.
He did.
Yeah, got injured the week I brought him in, so...
Yeah, after 111.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that was the thing. Hey, he had a couple of quick successive tons. 110, 105, 111, boom, injured.
And the Tigers are a better team with him in there. So, and I think, and Lua has come out this week and said he's 5'8" now for Adam Doueihi to take over this team. He's obviously noticed that that's the best thing for the team. So it looks like that means him for the long run because he's a big signing, Lua. They wouldn't make that change if it wasn't for the long-term sort of planning. So that's great news there. And I think Latu will start to play a little bit of a bench role as well, so that won't impact Doueihi at all.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for halfback, guys, because the rest are 1% owned for a reason.
Yeah, well, he's 1% owned, and it's just because of his buy. So get on.
Yeah, pretty much. And that they haven't delved into the stats.
Yep. He's the biggest one.
All right, let's go to the wasteland that's called 5'8". This will be over in about 3 minutes, guys.
They all suck. Just get Pezzett.
There's not much happening. Pezzett, top of this list, 235k, 67% owned. I think when we first did this, he was like 81% or something. So it's gone down a little bit. People are starting to get a little bit worried. I don't really know why. There's just not much happening here, like we've just said.
What else are you going to do?
I think we actually said originally that this should actually go up the more people that join the app and things like that. It's gone down, which is a bit shocking. Just get on him, guys. Yeah. It's a safe play. Just even if you stick him in your second 5'8", really nothing to lose.
Not really. Not at all. I don't know what you're doing if you're not getting him. Like, I'm struggling to find a 5'8", let alone get off the only one that I'm putting in my team. So... look, it's a yucky position in general, but he's dirt cheap, and you're just gonna have to put him there. I can't say anything else around it. It's just such an easy. There's no nonsense here.
And he's literally going to play big minutes early. It's as simple as that. So
it's all you can ask.
A dude who's playing big minutes at that price in a terrible position, I'm taking him. No brainer. Not even thinking about it.
Yep, that's it. Done and dusted.
And if those rumours are starting to get a little bit louder about him potentially goal kicking as well, he'll be even higher owned. So just keep an eye on that one. Cody Walker is next. Trav, we'll just have a quick chat here. We won't involve you know who because we just know what he's going to say. $3.99k, 22%. I guess the question here, let's just say this is it for 5'8", really. Jonah Pezzett's one slot. And then it's basically Cody Walker or Cameron Munster, I think. It's basically whatever cash is happening until Dylan Brown gets his duel, and then we start talking about Dylan Brown. Cody Walker, this left edge, Trav, is just something out of this world. It's almost unfair. It's a cheat code. Surely he can get some points.
I think it's a no-brainer, yeah. I really do. And at that price, at just under 400k, you've just got to get him. It's an absolute no-brainer. You just got to do it.
Oh, sorry. I just look at his face every time and it gets me. Jesse, honestly, Can't you see it? I know you hate this guy like more.
I don't hate him.
The Grinch.
I don't hate
the
guy.
Yes, you do.
No, I got nothing against
There is
him.
a hatred. There's a hatred.
No, I'm not going there. It's just bad.
Stop
You know
lying
what,
to the
even with
community, Jesse. You don't like him at all.
I got nothing against him as a person. I just think he's a bad option in Supercoach. I just don't like it, genuinely. I've voiced it a billion times. I think everyone that listens to our pod knows. I think it's almost comical at this stage. But he actually, funnily enough, he goes down in stats. I think this doesn't benefit him at all going to the NRL stats scoring, because you're going to try and get that sweep out of him. You're going to try and get something. It's not going to be last out of his hands. I don't
I'm
see
sorry,
it.
but that's where this does my head in, because I think everyone knows when it comes to those players on the left, Cody Walker is the guy that basically makes that happen. So whether he's the final touch or the guy sweep, whatever it is, the try assist is Cody Walker. Without him doing it, they don't score most of those freaking tries that they'll score this year. Like, this is stupid. This is just getting more and more stupid. So,
Well, it's going to go from him. It's going to go to Fafita, and if Fafita crashes through, then happy days. And that's points for Walker, and it's points for Fafita, who I'll have, and I'll benefit, which is a good thing. If it doesn't, and it goes to Latrell, then it's not Walker's anymore, and it's going to go out to AJ, and then it's Latrell's, and that makes him a better option. So, like, there's a lot of talent on that side, and we spoke about it in the Rabbitohs pod. There is a lot of players. There's 4 guys out there all vying for the same assist or the same, something. I just don't think Walker's going to be the one for
There
the
is,
try.
but
don't
but
know.
I think what
I
will
don't know how
happen
this
is
works.
Walker will have it. Walker will pass to Fafita. Fafita goes through the line. He
And then he
then
does his
dummies
calf.
and Fafita gets through the line as a dummy run, and he passes it to Mitchell, who goes over the line. And if he doesn't do that, then the both of them go through, and he passes it out to Johnson early, and Johnson goes over the line. So either way, it's in Cody Walker's hands the whole time, and he's just going to share. Which one is it that's going to be the dummy run, and which one's going to be which one's going to be that? I think it's just going to be that simple. I really do.
But
And the Rabbitohs just have to do it.
The first
It's not
few
like-
weeks will be all to Johnston so he can break the record. There is no doubt about it. They will make sure they have everything ends up in Johnston's hands. So
Yeah, it's just that last year they had AJ there, and they tried to get him all the tries in the world, and they did. And they also had Latrell there as the fullback. He was coming through on that side because of AJ anyway. So it's not like Latrell's going to suddenly be in this brand new position at left center. He was basically playing through that side all the time anyway.
he hardly played last
Cody
year.
Walker, yeah, exactly, but so did Cody Walker. So like, I just don't see it. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong.
We'll find
We'll
out.
see. But I wasn't wrong last year.
Can we do a friendly bet? Can we do like a line of what Cody Walker averages this season? Let's say
Less than 40.
you're going to say less than 40 he averages.
Oh,
So
that's
if he averages higher than 40, what are you going to do? What's the little thing that we can do with you?
I
Do
don't
a
know.
friendly bet.
How much do you want to lose?
No, I'm not talking money. I'm not like talking an activity
just-
or something.
I don't
Jesse
know. We'll
has
work
to
out
buy
this and we'll come back to
a
it.
buzz cut.
Jesse
buzz
has
cut.
to buy
Oh,
a Queensland Origin jersey.
Oh, God.
Oh,
How about you buy it and I'll wear it for 5 minutes?
I'm not buying it.
You got to wear a Queensland merch, so either a polo or whatever it is, jersey.
Just go down a
on
best and
Make me
less.
sick.
on the grand final Supercoach podcast this year.
No
Okay.
chance.
No,
Not
that's it.
happening.
Yeah, you're
We'll work
confident.
out some.
You're confident.
I am
Cameron
actually.
Munster,
I am confident.
I think Jesse's almost sick with how long we spent on Cody Walker.
Yeah, I am.
Cameron Munster, 682k, 20%.
He's the GOAT.
It's basically, if you can afford it, do it. But affording it at the moment is the problem. So,
Yeah, I'd like to know where all these people, where that 20% have got the money for 682 to put in a 5'8" spot. I can't play. I've set my team, deleted it, put Cameron Munster in 5'8", and just as it makes out, I just hate the way it looks. As much as I love Munster, and as much as everyone, if you can get Munster in your team and you haven't destroyed the rest of your team, do it. But yeah, I just can't do it at the moment because I can't afford him.
It's an expensive one to get, but I can justify. I did it last season too. I found the way, and I enjoyed it. It's one of those positions too, because it's so bad. It's just set it and forget about it.
Forget it.
It's just yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard I don't think there's any way that you're going to get the similar kind of output from a Peasant that you're going to get from a Munster. I think the disparity is daylight apart. It's so far apart that you're like, far out, I really need to find myself with a 5'8" here. Um, and then if you start middling around the 500s where they start to get a little bit relevant, then you're just like, well, why am I spending this much money if it's not for Munster? Because he's finding somewhere in the middle where maybe that is actually closer to what Pez's going to do, but for 300k more. It's like, it is. It's a hard thing to do. I think to get him, you're going to have to sacrifice one of those 3 gun center wings or one of those elite fullbacks, or you're not getting the 2 gun halves. You're getting one and a cheaper flex. There's just something. You have to sacrifice it somewhere. And then you just go back to net points. I think that's kind of just the argument you got to have to yourself. What's the net gain here with Munster at 5'8" and whoever you have to go to, as opposed to essentially 30 points is what I'm putting on Pezzett to go with to start. I'm just going to go, if he gets me 30 and flexes out, that's his job. And for 235k, see ya.
Actually, my last team I did last week, I ended up putting Munster in. There was just a part of me that wanted him. I just don't like what it's done to my team. I don't like how much I've had to change a few things. And at the moment, with this chat we've had so far tonight, it's made me think, I almost feel like it's a decision between Munster and Harry Grant, and it's one or the other. And I'm really liking Harry Grant at the moment, like with everything that we spoke about for hooker. A little bit cheaper as well, so you save a little bit of bickies and can do some stuff elsewhere. But yeah, I just sort of like what Trav said earlier. I just don't like how my team looks with that Munster there. To be honest, I'll probably regret it. I'll probably get to around 5 or 6, and we'll be looking at Munster's scores, and I'll be like, far out, I made the wrong decision, and I'll wear it. I just think it's just that the whole double cheapy sort of thing at 5'8" at the moment scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
I just don't like it, but it's going to have to be. Hopefully I can cover that loss elsewhere, other positions, and then if I need to fix something up, downgrade a big centre wing or whatever it is, an injury will pop up at some stage and I can hopefully fix it out then. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Anyway, you mentioned Sandon Smith for hooker, Jesse, that you wanted to speak about at 5'8".
Yeah. I just think there's better hookers for that price, especially for less. But when it comes to the 5'8" position, there's really not a great deal around 500. That you can kind of, they're not goal kicking for one. If Sandon is goal kicking, then he does become a very good option. Did well in the trial. Looks good.
I thought he played well, and there was a lot of people that commented saying he was shit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I thought, criticism on him. I was like, I didn't think he was that bad at all. I thought he played all right, to be fair. So, it's kind of just Sandon Smith's game, doesn't he? He kind of makes it look awkward. Playing good looks awkward.
He got chased down once, which happens to anyone. Sometimes you're just not the quickest guy in the field, and because you're a half, I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. The sport's about getting chased down, isn't it? And running through and
You've got this young guy that's exciting and keen to go in Cade Reid, and he chased him down. It happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I like it. 10%, 500k. He's a jewel as well. Covers both hooker. His goal kicking looks like. We know what Sandon Smith was so safe for us last year. He was one of those players that you had at cheapy status that you just held on to because he kept delivering. I think he's probably going to do the same thing. It's just the jewel is so valuable at 500 for him in an ugly position.
Anything else?
He can fix it.
That one, Trav?
No, I like that. It was a good call.
All right, let me just do let's start going through some names and just stop me when you need. So, Ethan Strange.
Yep.
Jackson, yes?
Have to.
This new rules?
Well, with the rule change, he's very affected. He's the second worst. He goes down 4.2 points to a 58 average. He's going to be playing on the opposite side now, apparently, though. So he won't be playing on Hudson Young's side, potentially. I think he's on Nicholson's, which, Nicholson's a very, very good player. I think he's going to do a lot of attacking stuff with him. I don't think it really goes too negative on the try assist kind of thing. But Strange is on the up. He's one of those dudes that is well up on the trajectory. He's got the I'm getting better factor each year. You know what I mean? That we're just talking about with Katoa. I like him as an alternative, as a premium 5'8". I think if you can't get yourself to a Munster, I'm warming up a lot to the idea of having Ezra Mam as the 5'8". I think you can flip a coin between Mam and Strange as the next guys down. But yeah, I think just with the fact that Sanders is in there now too, I think Strange is going to have to take a bit more reign. And that's, yeah, it's going to be a good thing. I think he's going to be up there, top 3 for the highest average in the 5'8 position next year.
Are you all right, Trav? You sound a bit like you're running a marathon. You okay? You're breathing.
I think you can hear you breathing.
Yeah, it's very
Talking about
noticeable
Strange.
Really?
He loves Ethan Strange. He had him last year, so
Sorry.
probably getting hot and heavy.
Can you hear it, Jesse, or is it just me?
Oh, very
Little
slight.
bits,
Might
eh?
just be you.
Yeah, little bits. It's all right. My headphones goes out.
Ethan Strange is actually my favourite 5'8 this year.
Yeah.
And I'll put a
it.
call that he's the highest averaging 5'8 by the end of the year. That's
fair.
That's my big call for Supercoach for a 5'8 spot, because
Depends if Sharp
You've
plays.
said that.
I agree. I like doubling down. You know that, Joel. I agree with everything you just said there, Jesse. I think because of the Strange/Black half, switching sides too, everything points to upside for Strange. And even though that those numbers drop, I feel like a fair bit of those numbers would have dropped just because of his inexperience and Fogarty being there, Weeks on the other side, and so I don't foresee this being. I don't think those points drop because his game, or because he played poor games or anything like that. I just think it was just those factors. I actually think there's some serious upside in Strange, and I legitimately think he will be the highest averaging 5'8 in the competition.
I like it.
I like it as well. If Sharp doesn't play, I think Sharp will be number 1 if he is in there somewhere. But yeah, I really like it. I think he's a great option.
I think they've also got Purdue's good too, but I don't like the Purdue thing, because now there's talk that he's going to centre, and if he goes to centre, then yeah, okay, he'll be a good 5'8 because he's going to score well, but he's like not a 5'8 if that makes sense. But
I don't know if he's an option.
For me, it's I really like their draw too. So they got Manly in first game, then they've got the Wars early, which is a good thing. Then they got the Bulldogs, that's tough. Then they got the Sharks, who are not defensively minded. Then they got Newcastle, Salves. Melbourne is a tough one, but it's at home. Then they got the Tigers, and they got the Titans. Like, I like that first 9, and then the 10th game is Penrith. Like, for that Raiders team that I still think still pretty good, he's just going to be even better. He's my favourite one.
Yep.
Yeah. Jackson Purdue, you just mentioned him then. So he's got the 5'8 centre wing dual. 557k, 9% owned at the moment. If at this latest team list, which is their strongest team list, they're off to Vegas after this. Is anything to go by? Clifford had a great game last week's trial. Perhaps looks like he's now won that jersey, and it pushes Purdue out to the centres, especially with the young gun Chester. Looks to be out for a couple of weeks still with that injury. I think that may have forced the hand there. So, yeah, I don't think he's an option. If you are getting him, I don't think he's not really an option for 5'8". Centre wing, if anything, it just is a bigger talking point for Drinky and the effect he has on Drinky. That should mean Drinky's scores are better than they look like they possibly would have been with Purdue at 5'8". That's pretty much the only talking point there.
Yeah, kind of. I still think he's a better option at 5'8 than centre, because there's so many centres to choose from. And Purdue's not who I want to put in my centre. But if he's going to be a good option as a good centre wing, I'm 100% playing him at 5'8 then, because he's a good option, and 5'8's just ugly. So, you go where the shitty position is, and you can fill that hole with. And I think that's kind of what you're looking at. If he's only filling in for Chester covering an injury until he's back, or Clifford's won the spot for how long until they play this stupid roulette again, I don't know, man. I don't see the big shining lights here. I think it's more of a headache. I think it's why you just have to sit and wait and see how much of a dick around Purdue gets in his second year. If it's going to be if he's going to be a halfback, you've called him out as a halfback, and you've said that's what the plan is. If the plan is game 1 he's at centre, then there's going to be way too much uncertainty around where he plays in general. and I think that's gonna bode terribly for the other Cowboys. I think what you wanted to see is Purdue's my 7. He's going to be my 7 in round 1. He's going to be my 7 in round 2, and so on and so forth. And if I need a filled center, I'm going to find someone else who can fill center to cover Chester until he's back. We're doing this same old song and dance again. Yeah.
Don't get me started, because I don't want to try and start talking about this NRL point of view. This trial team list that Todd Payton has named, it makes no sense to me. But anyway, let's not do it, Trav. Let's just please not go there. We don't need to. Move on. You happy to move on, Trav? Yeah, lips are sealed. Thank you. Hang on? Did you both say Ezra Mam's an option? 585.
We did.
The number 1 option.
A very good.
He's the best option.
I wouldn't say number 1, but I like it.
He's the number 1 most improved by the new scoring system, by differential and essentially by average too. Outside of Munster, he's the top. So he gets a 2.5, just over 2.5 bump. He would have averaged over 62. Price is just off 60. He's majority of this position is negative, and the vast majority get a downturn in their average. Mam's the only one that really gets a big up. At 585, he's 100k less than Munster. Premiership winning team. He obviously killed it last year when he come back in the 10 games that he did play. Yeah, I just, it's one of those picks that you just don't like doing, do you? But it's all about the points, and I think there's lots there for him.
I don't know that the call around it's one of those picks you just don't like doing, because I'm looking at this as just a purely Supercoach point. And if you have a look at the point differentials that I know you're looking at the same spreadsheet that I'm looking at here, Jesse, there's only one dude. I'm gonna remove Fletcher Sharp, because who knows what the hell's happening there, and we would love it. But if I remove Fletcher Sharp, there's only one dude that averaged more than Ezra Mam in the entire 5'8" position.
Yep.
And that was Munster at 66. He has the second highest, only by 0.2, which was Brimson, who averaged 62. So 62.3. So Ezra Mam at 585 is a fantastic buy. A fantastic buy. They've got a good draw early too. I think the Broncos need to have those tough games early, just coming off the back of a premiership, a long preseason, and the World Cup challenge. So tough games early, which is even better for him. Yeah, I'm very keen to watch Mam.
Yeah. If he can get past those, Penrith and Storm round 1 and 3. Outside of that, man, their draws are great, and we've spoken about it too at length.
Dolphins, Titans, Cowboys, West.
Yeah, it's just a dream run. So, yeah, he's looking like, for his price, he's 100k unders on the second or the first best 5'8" if we exclude Sharp. Yeah, he looks like the go, really, and he's cheaper than Strange. Strange gets the pretty significant downturn, his negative stat. He gets the up, he gets a positive jump. So, yeah, something here, something in, Mam.
Tell you what, I did not predict this conversation to be happening when I started this podcast tonight. So there you go, guys. Right? This is why I got the boys doing what they do, looking at all the stats and numbers that they do, because you get goodies like that, and you only get that listening to here. So that in itself was worth the like and subscribe, please, guys. So go ahead, please do. So let's just start going down this list, shall we? Because there's then this is where we start to get into the old 5'8s, where it just starts to really just dwindle out. Tamari Martin, Matty Burton, DCE. I'm so glad that hype has gone quickly downhill, because he was never an option. Sorry, but I hate that.
You don't think so?
618k.
Yeah, I don't know. Enough. That's what I mean. If I look at that, I'd like to do it just to see how it would go. Just out of curiosity, you know what I mean? But for 600k, I don't. But it's a lot of coin, and it's too much. Too much to roll the dice. If I'm going to spend 618, and that's my ceiling cap limit, I'm going to spend. I'm just going to get Strange or Mam, and probably Mam, to be honest. So
and
I was
not even think about it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Tyron Wishart, Braden Trindle, Blaze Talangi.
I do like Blaze Talangi. I do, but
I like
I
him.
just,
Yeah.
and I'm only going to put it out there that I like him. I think there's also improvement. Um, he had a pretty good year last year. That's very underrated. That he got absolutely raked over the coals over preseason, didn't he? Like with all the things about him, wasn't training hard enough, didn't quite fit in our system. Blah blah blah. Ends up playing 19 games and averaged a tick under 60. Like I just that's a really good year in his second year, really. Where he finally found his spot next to Cleary. I like it. I like it as a pod pick. Am I going to do it myself? No, but I'm not telling anyone to get off him.
Yeah, I don't mind it. He's good. He's going to get you at least 50 into what we saw last year. He did have to get attack in there for that, but he always found a way. It was one of those games like Talangi just found a way to find attack. He's also, though, and considering he found a way to get attack,
Yes.
he's going to have to do a bit more because he is the most negatively affected 5'8" in the entire list. By differential, he drops 4.4 down to a mid 50 average, 55 exactly. So he found his way to attack, and I don't know if it's going to be the same translation, but again, I just think his improvement outweighs the scoring system change.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, no, perfect. Okay, I think the last one on this list, just to quickly mention, Fletcher Sharp, 730k, 2% owned at the moment. I think the fact that not even the coach knows what to do with him sums everything up right now. It's just one of those, no idea what's happening, so just don't go there for now. I feel like he's just going to be that guy where he just fills in. I think the coach has probably looked at the stats and how injuries and that work. He probably knows deep down that in the halves that he's going to choose, there's going to be an injury every couple of weeks, and Fletcher Sharp will just fill in. He'll just be that stop-go solution, and who knows what else happens? Maybe that 14 roll, and yeah, I don't like it.
Hopefully, he drops 300k.
Oh,
we get him.
please.
We get him
And
somewhere,
then they
some
name him
point
in
of the
the halves.
season. Yeah, and he's like, oh, and he's the 5'8" again all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, wow, thanks for the discount. He's the most heavily traded in player, and that's all she
Not that I
wrote.
wish
But
this to happen, but a Ponga gets injured, he drops all those Ks, and then Ponga and Sharp goes to fullback. Hell yeah, watch him be 100% bought.
Yeah, that's a dream.
That's it, I think, boys.
Yeah, I'm happy there.
We told you, and we probably went further than I thought we would for two of those positions tonight, hooker and 5'8". We got a bit deeper, and we actually found a few nuggets of gold, I feel like. So, well done there. Let us know who you have gone. It's not the most exciting positions. We understand that. But if you guys have found some people that you're liking or some players and perhaps got some stats around it or got some talking points that we haven't spoken about, let us know. We'll be reading the comments and very intrigued by that one, please. So that's it, boys. Let's go. My phone's about to die because I'm using my hotspot. It's draining the crap out of me. So I better go before I lose my hotspot. Jesse, thank you. It's been a fun one. Trav, unlike your car, you've put a really good shift in. So well done, mate.
Thanks for holding up the fort before I got here. Well done, boys.
Thanks, mate.
And hopefully it's not too bad, internet and that wise. Hopefully we've got it done. We'll see you next week when we do the big boppers, the front row forwards and the 2 RFs, which I'm sure by then
it's going to be awesome.
We still won't know any idea about the point scoring system.
I'm glad we've left them for last, to be fair. I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
like, subscribe,
me too.
Follow us on the social media platforms as well. Just type in League of Inches if you haven't done so already. We will see you all very, very shortly. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.